world is changing in a fundamental way in the fourth industrial revolution. And the big question is, will there be a place for me? That's what every citizen asks himself in this new world.
If we don't, as business schools, change the way that the future leaders think, or at least make them aware of all these challenges, then I don't know where it will start.
Still 13% of people are chronically hungry.
The biggest challenge is that now we know we have 17 goals we have to solve by 2030. Before we thought sustainability was actually a smaller topic, and now we see the total size of the challenges ahead, and we see how everything is intertwined.
I firmly believe as a scientist that we can feed the world, but I also know it will not come automatically. And there are two major barriers. One is a technological and economic barrier, and the other barrier is in ourselves, in our willingness to open up, to look at new solutions.
I do think we all need to learn more about how the world actually works.
People tend to want to believe it's someone else's problem or there's some relatively simple solution. Particularly in the area of climate change, it's a pretty complex topic, and people are going to have to invest in understanding the issues to make sure we really come up with sustainable solutions.
Oh, I think if you don't have a strategy yet that connects your company to the Sustainable Development Goals, you're off by 5 years. And in part because it's good, but in part because the world will go there, and if you miss out on that opportunity, you're behind.
The themes connected to sustainable development, something that in business you hardly think about on a daily basis. Really hear people talking about it and applying it, give a lot of food for thought.
It's really about mindset, and how do we make the mindset change so that organizations, corporations can have a real impact.
Lift farmers from out of poverty. I think that is the most important element. We only buy from farms where we know and we have tested that there is no child labor.
In 5 years we don't know how politics is going to look like. You have basically publics that have a totally different expectations from politicians, and the extent to which people here shows interest in politics is one of the optimistic things that they can see.
The challenge is to create enough momentum in a society that the majority is convinced that they will be okay or even better off in the world that is to come. And if we don't achieve that goal, people will resist change instead of embrace change.
In times of fast change, people need identity. They need a feeling of belonging. If you can give that to them, if you understand where they're coming from, what their fears are, and if you pull them through those fears, we can start to rebuild the trust.
The problems that the world faces today are so complex that it's really essential that business play an active role in addressing those broad issues.
But the thing that's striking about these robots is their ability to deal with an imperfectly understood world. Where precisely the dishwasher is something that the robot is able to solve much the same way that a human or an animal would do so.
So if you combine 100 different exponential technologies, you move into a new world. And this will happen in the next decade, this decade.
Business can do so much good, whether it's bringing technology to the developing world, whether it's providing new solutions to help the climate, whether it's trying to deal with issues of inequality. Business can play a role, and they are, and we're going to need them to do more.
Do something is better than doing nothing. Also, one of the takeaways was around for everything you do, there is some negative side effect. You can always find somebody that says what you're doing is just wrong.
What I'm paid for, what I'm good at, what I love is actually contributing to more happiness and good life in the world.
I love it when it clicks for people. And what I'm good at is motivating and inspiring people.
I don't believe you. I don't believe it.
That's right. My ikigai is really to lead, guide, inspire. And so I see myself being really practical here, being a part of that larger organization, not allowing myself to be isolated and being a part of the solution. As they say, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I spoke to a few people today that really said, well, you got me there. I was inspired by that person or by this person. So I feel that that really makes what we wanted to get out of it.